What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Would You Watch It Again, the show where we review your favorite movies, anime, and TV shows, give you our rating, and at the end, we answer the only question that really matters: would you watch it again? I got the homie Dooley with me, and today we're reviewing season 2 of P Valley. Let's talk about it.
Down in the valley where the girls get naked. If you throwing bands, then you know she gon' shake it. 1, 2, break 'em. 3, 4, break 'em.
So, what was your overall thoughts on this?
Man, like you said, COVID managed to ruin people's lives and shows. This was a perfect example, son. Honestly, this was the first season was 8 episodes. It was real. It had like a nice, like slow burn. The plot wasn't too crazy, but it was kind of like unique and interesting. Like a lot of the characters was a little mysterious, and you kind of got to like dive into their world, learn more about them individually. And in this season, it picked up kind of right where it left off. Only they said, let's add 7 plots to each character and make the viewer uninterested. Overall, to me, I think maybe there was like 2 to 3 good episodes this season. I think it just kind of suffered from a real lack of direction. I think it felt like the movie Belly, where it's like just a bunch of cool music video scenes just meshed up together. But it was not the word cohesive. It wasn't a cohesive story to me at all. Personally.
At all. It literally was not like a cohesive story at all. Yeah. I went into season 1 knowing who the main character was, who the side characters were. In this one, I can't tell you who the fuck is the main character, who's the side character, and I can't tell you what story is the main story that's happening, because at any given time, there's like any other cutscene, there's like another story that's branching out to another story. Like, for example, the new character is Roulette, and I forgot the other chick's name.
Vision. We're just gonna call her Vision. I don't know her name either.
Like Roulette was like, she's a new character. She's like starting her own prostitution ring in the club, and then she also finds out that Big L and the white dude are selling drugs in the club, and that branches out something else. And then we got fake Barack Obama over here running for mayor.
Oh my god! Wait! Before you go into the Barack, I didn't know if you were going to jump in all the stories, but I did want to talk about that prostitution stuff. I just felt like that should have almost been the focus of the story. Like it should have been the focus in, like pretty much the first season was the politics of the strip club. Like you have like all these different characters that enter and how they interact, and how like the strip club kind of runs this town, and who pretty much runs this place. Like, so I wanted to see that. I was like, all right, you're gonna have people that don't pay. You might see people that are abusive. You might see the drug dealers. You might see the politicians. Everybody comes here. And then this season, you see a different, like another layer peeled back. Like, okay, like what else do people do at strip clubs? Could have easily went the prostitution route. And I just don't know why they didn't focus on that. I don't know why that was such like let's give you a taste of it in the first episode, and then let's revisit it at the very end.
Pretty much, yeah. Because low-key had 2 different prostitution going on, because there's Roulette's, and then we also found out Mercedes doing her thing on the side, renting herself out. So there's 2 different prostitution rings going on, and those are explored separately. Meanwhile, you got a church, not a church, you got a casino trying to be built. There's like backroom deals. There's Little Murder on his tour, which is Little Murder thing was way more interesting than anybody else's like overall story.
Easily, I agree. Like, I mean, yeah, we can get into it. Let's start with the different plots. Then, like, let's start. You want to start with Mercedes?
What was her plot?
She got hired by Coach to be like I guess like a stripper and a prostitute for him, like a private escort for him, essentially. And then we find out that like his wife is also into her.
That's one plot of hers. You also find out her daughter is also pregnant, and now she's having a fight to get her daughter back. And it's like she got 2 plots going on.
And the other plot of her is, what's it called? If you remember how the first season ended, she had all that money that her mom took from her. So there is a lot going on with her. And then also, I just want to keep going in because there was her shooting. It was apparently 7 pounds of pressure that was locked in her shoulder. And now you see the veteran stripper kind of losing her edge. So now she can't really climb up the pole like she used to and stuff like that. So
that's one that would have is right there. So when I watched this first season, it's like a very grounded and real life representation of like what it's like to be a stripper in the South.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next season, it's like there's also voodoo, by the way. It's like what? There's also ghosts like that are real, like the the ghost of Autumn's dead husband, boyfriend, mistress, whatever, is haunting the Pink, and like I don't know what is that. So I'm like, why add that into the story? Like you have a grounded story in real life. Like why are you? It's like bringing superheroes into this or something like that. Like why would you do that?
Yeah, I think they like wanted to test out their special effects and just be like, oh, hey, we can make a pool of blood and let's see, maybe we could add voices and stuff like that. Like we got a new computer. Honestly, I feel like they hired the writers from like Power Book 2 and just said, yo, let's just go crazy. Let's just throw everything on the wall and whatever's on the dartboard, let's just play with it. But yeah, I mean, like, you know, that was an off-screen death of Autumn's like old man or whatever, right? We didn't really get any details on like how it exactly happened. We just keep hearing the back end of it of like, oh dang, like we wake up to the funeral, which was cool. It was a good like twist, but that shows you like it's like literally apples and oranges. Season 1 and 2 is like, okay, like it still had a good like resolution to it. You would have thought they would explain more. You would have thought there might have been a consequence to her killing him, maybe some murder investigation, something like that. Like, how did this happen? Maybe something still was left behind. The only consequence was there was a pound of pressure left. I feel like that was their route to say, let's retire Mercedes from stripping and let's take her out of the strip club, where it could have just been like, she could have really just injured herself and been like, yeah, I'm not the top dog no more. Like these new girls are coming in. Cool. You know, but this voodoo part of taking out the pressure from her shoulder and she still can't do the same thing. Like, it's like, what was the point of it? Where did that lead?
Yeah, because you're right. Because it doesn't come back up after, like the voodoo thing doesn't come back up after that episode. You're right. It's literally there and then gone.
And mind you, this is why she kicked out Autumn from her apartment. So like, it was okay to kill someone for you, you know, like I'm gonna live with this murder I did for you, but the fact that you fucked up my arm, get out of my house. like, but yeah, she had a lot. She had the my bad, I didn't mean to cut you off. You're about to say
I was just gonna say, like, Autumn's not even the main character anymore. She's rarely seen, and like she's like in the background doing things. Like she's not the main character no more. Like I feel like it was centered around her and the things happening around her, and now it's just like everyone else is the main character. Autumn's she's a side project right now. Like she's still there, but all these other people are also like the main cast. It's like, that's gonna be a terrible analogy for it, but like it kind of reminded me of like Game of Thrones, where like you have different things going on, like different storylines, but everyone but you know the storylines connect somehow. So a bigger story. This is just randomness. Yeah,
this was a bad attempt at a Game of Thrones multiple plot line thing, you know? Like Game of Thrones executed that so perfectly. That's why everyone thought it was brilliant, because they spent so much time developing each one of these storylines, right? Like if we talked about Autumn, I feel like they ran out of plot for her. Like they didn't know what to do. So now she's this boss figure, pretty much walking around, smoking her cigarette. She's really elegant now. She's not the victim she was from the first season. Whereas like she didn't even do anything. You know, it was like Mercedes that saved her. And even Mercedes, like we're talking about, where they don't develop any plot lines. Like when you see she's like a new escort, we have one episode of her being an escort, right? We don't really see like, okay, like, is she being a hypocrite in some way, like judging the other prostitutes or something like that? Or what happens here? Okay, she tells the girl, hey, as long as you don't F up my money, you know, we're okay. Guess what happens the same episode? She messed up her money. That's what I mean by they don't develop anything. It's kind of like you're just telling us like the most obvious hint at what's going to happen. And we're kind of over it. Like, short of every plot line, thinking like we're supposed to be entertained by this. And it didn't work. What was the last thing of Mercedes? What does she do? What else does she have? Is that her daughter for Mercedes, right?
She had a daughter. That was it. And then
talk about a school of bad acting. I'm sorry. That scene with her and her daughter arguing on their way to the abortion clinic was, I almost turned the TV off. Like, I don't know what it was, but it just seemed so not real. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm hating there, but yeah, there was a couple of those moments. I don't know.
There was a lot of that. There was a lot of bad acting, or what do we call it? Bad lines, low key, just terrible. Like,
Yeah.
one line. It was. I'm not trying to say the season's like bad because it's not bad, but it's like I'm not as entertained as I was from the first season. Like,
it makes me also wonder, like, imagine if COVID didn't happen, because you know how shows are written, right? Like, if COVID didn't happen, like, would that be a plot of this season, right? Like, literally the first episode opens and it's kind of interesting in a way, like, oh, it's cool, like they changed how they were going to use the strip club. Oh, that's interesting. Like, it's kind of cool how they did this car wash scene. Not gonna lie, I thought that was unique. Good take on it, right? But then the end of the episode is like, all right, the restrictions are lifted and now you're kind of getting out of it. Then as the episodes progress, they're still kind of talking about COVID. There's a scene in the show where I don't remember what her name was or what
she sneezed.
She sneezed in slow motion and it got on her mask. And I'm like, is this like a comic book or something? Like, what am I watching? Like, is this a drama show, a comedy show? Like, what's happening? Why was COVID a crutch of the story at all? Like, I think that just tells me like y'all didn't have anything done after season one. It's just like,
you probably didn't think they were going to get it season one. Season one was really good. I'm saying like, yeah, if COVID didn't happen, what were you going to do? Because COVID plays a main factor throughout the entire season, up until the last episode where his uncle's grandma gets out of the hospital because she had fucking COVID. Like, if this sickness didn't happen, what was the plan? Like, what were you going to do? Yeah.
Like, how did you not think? Like, I feel like if you ever moved that, you might have even had more room for the other stories to breathe.
You would have had like, a character development, like way better character development. Like, what?
Yeah. I could have appreciated that more. Like, even if you weren't going to shift on Autumn anymore, that's fine. Like, I wouldn't mind like any other character getting the spotlight. Like, for me personally, like the way last season you only got like glimpses of Keyshawn, Mississippi or whatever. Like, you didn't really you only saw like those glimpses of her being abused and then you finally see her mighty trash ex-boyfriend like who comes or whatever, and now like this season really did a good job of developing that. Now, me personally, I think The Little Murder, as we said, was a great story, but one redeeming episode was the in-depth Keyshawn episode. Like, what did you think of that one?
I thought it was a good episode. It was a nice away from the randomness that was fucking happening, and they developed her character because they gave her backstory and how she got to this point, and then she turned around, was on tour thinking she's living her life, and almost gets raped, and then goes back home thinking she's safe, and then gets beat. Like, yo, I really can't win. And now you see this last episode, like she really can't win because she just got arrested and shit like that. So that episode was really good, but it's kind of like it kind of gets shitted on because like everything else is going on with this season. Like there are good episodes, but the season itself is like I don't want to rate it just yet, but it's like it's just not good. Like the season itself is not good, but there are good episodes in it.
It gets diluted pretty much, and you get distracted from everything else going on. And I agree. It was almost like her Euphoria episode, where it's like a character-centered story. Like,
episode,
yeah. Like there really wasn't a bad episode of Euphoria when you look back at it. Like everything was well told, but it was also centered on one character. You see when they do converge and everything. But yeah, I understood the whole theme of Keyshawn being like a caged bird, pretty much. Like she can't escape what's around her, and she's just trapped to this abuse. But she's super delicate and super likable, and like she only means well. She just gets trapped with these bad decisions or things that are out of her control sometimes. I liked the I love that episode, how it was like really highlighting abuse, and the actors themselves actually came out. Like the ex-boyfriend even said like, yo, this episode can be triggering for certain audiences. So, just know like if abuse is going on, please let you know. I like that. I thought that was like really good. I'm like, dang, like, and that episode kind of gave me hope in the season where I'm like, yo, can we just see more of this plot almost? Like, why couldn't y'all have just made Keyshawn's plot the plot? Like the diamond plot with her, like his hate for her, him,
or just give each episode a different character. Like
it could have been that too.
One episode's Keyshawn, one episode's about Diamond, one episode's about fucking Roulette. Yeah. So just convoluted that story that you guys got going on that sometimes it intertwines. That goes back to this fucking mayor race. I also want to label the fact that at this point. Wait.
Before you go on the mayor thing, the last thing with Keyshawn, did it not bother you how her story ended? It didn't bother you at all, that finale? Like, you don't think it seemed a little forced? Like that scene with her exploding like in front of the cops and then hitting her boyfriend, and it's like we're back to square one. Like, were you okay with that, or was it just me being overly critical?
I mean, are you just like talking about just like her exploding? Like you thought she was overselling it?
I thought it was
like
cheap. I feel like it should have been, what I think it should have been was he found out he took the kids and he grabs he does something with their car, or like catches her right before she leaves, and then it just highlights the abuse versus like, let's trick the situation into making it look like she's the abuser. I get what you're going for. Like, I get what you're going for, but it just seemed really unrealistic for her to like being told by the police to explode on her husband.
Is it unrealistic? Because at the same time, like, this guy's manipulator, he's gonna manipulate things to like feel like he's gonna be the victim. He's also a white guy. She's a black girl in the South. So
I get that. That's why they were leaning on it. You know, like it's the angry black woman pretty much hitting the white man or something like that. Like I get why they were positioning it that way. I guess the scene itself, when it was going on, like where she's pretty much explaining to her, like, we have an investigation for you. That's all it took for her to like explode. Like, I would have thought, like, you didn't get any indication of her being aggressive the whole season. You got her being like I'm gonna cry, hide in a corner because I'm abused. So like, for her to explode in that thing where someone's just explaining something is kind of like, I think
you're looking at that part was like, oh yeah, that's what happened. But the build up to that was like, yo, she's going to leave. Like, her whole thing is mapped out. I have money. I have a car. I have a plan. I want to leave. My last step in the plan was to go get my kids, and now like a whole fucking everything's got thrown in my plan. I go home, and like fucking the police are there trying to take my kids, and she's telling me all this other shit, and she's stuck there. Remember, she tells her like, yo, I'm going to be doing this for like 6 months. So she knows she's stuck there for 6 months, and now she knows like this thing's going to beat her ass, bro, for like another 6 months. So I would fucking explode too. Like, your entire plan just got derailed.
That's a good point. Yeah, you're right. I changed my mind on that ending then for her. My bad. I didn't even cut you off. You were going in on the mayor next.
No, I actually do not like that character whatsoever, son. I don't see the purpose of him. I do not like his character at all. Like,
oh yeah, the fake Obama guy. Yeah, he's complete trash. I don't even know why they position him as like this like knight or something all of a sudden this season, where like last season he's like this cop trying to, or not even cop, or like he's like some investigator trying to scope out the property or something like that. That entire plot of the mayor, like the run for the mayor campaign, I hated it. And I don't know what's the guy that's with him? I don't know the guy's name. You know what I'm talking about, with the curly hair, the light skinned guy,
the white dude, not the white dude. He's not white.
He's like mixed, I think, but I don't know. Corbin. His name is Corbin, I think. So them like trying to run this like whatever like mayoral campaign, and like, here's your image and this is what you need to do. You need to endorse this, and then like them trying to compete, like trying to buy also like worrying about like, is this casino going to get built on this land, and how is this going to affect the strip club, or like the actual thing that Autumn owns and everything like that. That entire premise to me couldn't be more lackluster. Or I'm thinking like it was overshadowed by everything else going on. Like, there was more important plots where like, why did y'all even like make us try to care about this other random white lady at the ball that you have to impress and play these politic games? Like, this is not that show, is what I'm saying. Like, this is just kind of like, y'all are forcing another plot that is so undercooked and fake. And
low-key, I think that was supposed to be the main plot. I think that was supposed to be the main storyline.
I mean, I remember in the first season it was kind of touched on, right? Like, but it was somewhat in the background, like, because the story was more like the politics of the strip club, and this was like the politics of like the land and everyone else that's running. Okay, and then him having the fake Obama having like a murderer for a dad, like what happened? Like, what happened to that plot? Like, and then the other thing that really set me off with this finale actually was, okay, Uncle Clifford just said we can build a water pipeline to something else, and that's going to decrease the value of this property being 5 million or 10 million now.
No. So a casino can only be built on a waterfront property. So they built like it's not a dam, it's a runoff in front of Corbin's land, so to make it waterfront, so they can build a casino on that land property. So they got the casino, instead of having to buy the pink, they just like move the water source so it can be built somewhere else.
And this was like the ace in the whole trick for the finale.
Yes. Yep.
So this wasn't nonsense to you?
Of course it was. And then Autumn is just gone now. She's took the money. She's gone.
But even with her, like, wouldn't anyone else in her position sell the club for $10 million? Like, and my other thing is, like, couldn't they, if she was to sell the club, right, for $10 million, like, and Uncle Clifford goes home with $3 million, I'm sure if you sold this club back to Autumn for $250K, you could potentially open another club somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like, unless it's like some attachment to where you are or this is what you built. I didn't believe that enough.
It's her family's club. That's why she didn't want to leave it. It's like, oh, this is more than a building. This is my family's legacy. But I was like, son, you give me $3 million and I'll make a new legacy. Like, fuck everyone.
That's my thought, because everyone there is motivated selfishly. Like, the Obama guy is obsessed with his own image. You know, Autumn is trying to escape and start a new life. She was a scammer in the first season. Like, you see Mercedes and her prostitution, and the new girl or whatever, also running her prostitution thing. Like, everyone there is motivated selfishly. So it's almost weird that she was shamed for like having the opportunity to get $10 million, and then they position her as almost like the villain of the story. Now, I didn't buy that for 1 second, because I'm like, no, she's not. And they even try to make it seem like she was evil. And also, the other thing I didn't understand was what was the negative 40K balance of the club? Like, what happened with that? Where they just
she took the money. Autumn took the money. She emptied out the entire like bank. Yeah, that's what she had, that big ass trash bag. She's like, remember, she's like, y'all gonna have to put some interest on this shit. And they're like, nah, the body's the interest. She's like, nah. So she took all the fucking money because dumbasses didn't change the passcodes to the fucking bank. Whatever.
Yeah. Then what happened even with the guy? They didn't Uncle Murda. What's it called? Uncle Clifford. Didn't he fire his bouncer and he just came back randomly?
Yeah, of course.
That's what happened.
Because if you're expecting this to make sense, you're highly illogical.
So what do we have left? What do we have left with this?
I just want one thing to say, son. I'm convinced that this nigga Diamond just literally cannot fight, because for this bitch Redbone to become fucking Batwoman and just beat this nigga's ass, I was so, if it wasn't the end of the fucking episode, I would have turned it off right there. I'm like, I was like, son, the first season is white boy beat your ass, and then the next season, fucking Redbone beat your ass. She a ninja? Like, is she trained by the fucking like society of, like, what's going on? She come on with a fucking mask, starts whooping and stabs him. They throw his man in the trunk. I'm like, what is this?
Yo,
you've been a spy?
You know, it's his real girl in real life, apparently. That's like his real girlfriend. Like, that's that girl that he's dating and stuff, and that's his real girlfriend in real life, which is funny. But it's, yeah, like, I'm tired of seeing him. I'm tired of like them making him look like a super militant badass, but then just getting the shit knocked out of him. Like, and this is on his way to complete a hit job too, by the way, as well. Like, he's about to go handle business. He's gonna take care of something, and no, that was a huge letdown right there. I don't even know.
Again, I'm like, son, I was so mad this white boy was like, weren't you in the Marines? Why is this?
He was walking around with his like assault rifle too, like, and then he handled the fight in the club for a second, and then he saved Keyshawn just in time, got a kiss, and then went back to fight. Like, yeah, like some of those scenes were so weird too to watch. Like some of those scenes, like those like dream sequence scenes of like fighting, it was so awkward, and like I said, like sometimes it felt like a music video. It was like, this is a cool scene in a way. I think what they were doing was trying to go for some like artsy look. Like, you remember Keyshawn looking in the mirror and it's like all cracked. She sees the different versions of herself. It's like, it's just cool. But what did this do? Like, I don't know if y'all are just doing it for the sake of doing it, but it's not blending in with what's happening. So yeah, that Diamond fight, like, they didn't really explore that at all. It's just her seeing him and, okay, like, what happened now? They didn't have a conversation after that. Like, she's cool to call you again, even though you don't want to see her anymore. Like, it was a lot. But
you hated her, but she can call you from jail. Like, yeah, I want you to kill this nigga Derek. Bet.
Yeah, and mind you, say that over the phone from jail. Like, that's not the most monitored phone line in the world. But okay.
That wasn't like a good code either. Can you handle it? It's like, well, we know what that means.
Yeah, let me take a wild guess. Like, why I'm in prison and tell you to go handle someone. Okay, yeah, it would be hard to crack this one. But we do have to talk about the other, obviously the main character. We've been ignoring him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Come on, son. Murder Night. You know what I'm saying? Come on, son.
He's looking my favorite. He's looking my favorite character, son. If anyone can act, it's him. Like
Yeah, he smoked it.
he did a good job. I don't really have anything bad to say about his performance.
Fast forward to some scenes. It was a little heavy for you.
Definitely fast forward some scenes. I'm not even gonna lie, like definitely fast forward some scenes, but like, he did a good job. Like, he's a good actor. I like his, like I said, I like his storyline the best. And then like he finally came out as gay on the last episode, but then somehow everyone on the hood already knows that he's gay somehow.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't get this. That's the only plot. Like, I know that's his main thing. Like, he's the rapper and he's real tough. He'll kill you and stuff. But he's also gay, and I guess that's like the thing they have to hide. I understand that, but I am kind of shocked that that has been such like his like, I don't know, his anchor of the story. Pretty much, it's kind of like literally everyone on the show knows he's gay. There's not, I don't think there's a character on the show that doesn't. Like, even his enemies know he's gay. Even everyone that like Wody around him like found out, he was like, "Yo, like we know what's really going on, yada yada." And it's like, who doesn't know? Like, every single character on the show knows. And then two, it's 2022. It's like, if there was ever a time in the world where it was definitely somewhat acceptable, it's almost like if you guys are going to be talking about like music and how to chart and things like that, and like it's kind of like this obviously would help catapult your career in a lot of ways. I just like the, I thought it was cool how they did try to obviously hide the storyline with Uncle Clifford. It's like, okay, I get that, but no, like you were saying, man, Lil Murda, he killed it, man. Like, I liked him going on tour. His boy, who was his boy that killed himself? Can't remember his name.
That was actually I liked
Teak.
I didn't really like Teak's character, but I understood like what they were trying to go for him. Like, he just couldn't like survive on the outside. It just didn't make sense to him anymore.
Yeah. That's real. I mean, that's even like with a lot of people from the military and people from prison. They don't know how to operate in normal life anymore. Like, everything is on go. And obviously he's unhappy with everything that's going on in the world. Like, you know, he's seeing a lot of Black people getting killed by police, and then he sees like his own people almost agree with the other side, and that's even more infuriating. He doesn't know how to like actually channel his emotions. He's like, he's gonna explode and like knock people out. And he just kind of came to the terms that like, that last episode with him was really sad, where he kind of realized like, damn, my life has been screwed from the jump. Like, I've watched my parents abuse each other, and I went to prison. I've seen so much dark stuff. Like, my light is gone, and I need to like kill myself. That was a really heavy like scene to watch. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, like that was good. So that's what I'm saying. I hate that like they have like real good moments in the show, but it's all diluted with like the mayor campaign, seeing the mom start twerking on the.
Oh, I fucking hate this woman, bro. Like, oh my god, please get her off the fucking screen right now. So I'm whatever about her. One thing I also like about Little Murder, like I thought this man was a fake gangster. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just thought he was fake, and I actually see him like literally kill someone. I'm like, oh, it's like he's like, all right, cool, yeah. I'm invested again in him, but yeah, Little Murder, probably my favorite character in season 2. Really good.
He off the dude. He was like, "I got a mom, right? They'll remember you." Like, I was like, "Oh man, he's killer, son." But yeah, I mean, I know we just mentioned the mom again. I think that is like one of the last characters we have to touch on, but like, she also had no consequences through this season. I think I almost wonder like she's like a parody character sometimes, because of like, you know, you watch her like falling out of the chair and it's like, okay, like, is she supposed to be like fake likable? Like, she's preaching gospel and stuff like that, but she stole money from her daughter. She had no consequence for that, by the way. You know, that was just okay. Like, we just forgot about that. Mercedes and her don't really have much interaction this season that I remember. Like, did they actually speak to each other prior to the last episode?
Some interactions with each other. Then
I can't remember what
we saw a flashback of like her beating
getting abused
fuck out of Mercedes in a diner. But then they got some closure this season, the last episode, where like she gave Mercedes like her daughter to like watch.
So that was what I was gonna get at. That's what I'm saying when I say things are underdeveloped. Like, all we saw was the mayor mom pretty much like reward herself, or the show reward her for all the bullshit she's doing. She stole the money, right? Then she's paid to get off the campaign. She doesn't. She keeps it. And then what she shamed her daughter for living, even though she collected the money from her, she took that same stripper pole and started dancing on it. And it's like, is this supposed to be a parody right now or something? Or like, am I supposed to be believing the plot? And then randomly at the end of the episode, it's, yeah, you won the election. And after that, right, mind you, she doesn't had much interaction with Mercedes this season that I remember at all. But all of a sudden, like you just have a character switch where like, hey, I know we haven't talked a lot, but I'm going to reward you with your own daughter that you've been begging for.
It's like game recognized game. She's like, yeah, you're the mayor. She's like, yeah, I'll take your money. And she's like, after all that, you can look at you now. Like, you're an adult. I was like, I don't understand.
I don't get what was going on with that. And
there's no character development.
Yeah, but why? And then why did you have sympathy for Mercedes if you shamed her forever? Like, did you just feel like I'm on top of the world? I might as well. Like, it was not really like a thing where I kind of like saw like them reconciling in any way. I was just like, what's happening with them? Like, is Mercedes gonna snap? Is she gonna try to expose her mom? And someone like, what's gonna happen? No, I'm just gonna sit back and I'm gonna collect this check from this girl that made me her art muse, and then I'm gonna get my own daughter back. But see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I watched too much. It's like eating like one healthy meal after eating 7 days of pizza almost. It's kind of like, that's what I feel like the show really felt like. But yeah, overall I would say 2 to 3 good episodes out of 10. And
so if you had to rate this season, what would you rate out of 10?
I give it like a 6, probably a 6. I was always going to go 5, but like it had good enough scenes in it to say, oh, those are pretty well-made scenes. Like the scene of Teak killing himself and the whole episode of Keyshawn, I was kind of like, that was heavy. That was good. That was well done. Well orchestrated. Everything else can kick rocks. Like,
it's kind of hard to rate a season of a TV show because it's like one episode is really good, next episode is terrible, but there's also individual scenes and those bad episodes are good. Yeah, but I think a 6 is like fair game. Be like, yeah, it's not bad, but it's not good either. Like, it's like turn your brain off fun, I guess. Like,
I would say almost like it's pretty bad, but it has some good moments. Because I look at season 1 as being like a 9 out of 10, and this is like really dropped the ball. I'm like, yo, you're lucky I'm a fan, because this is a pretty bad show so far.
So now the important question: would you watch this entire season over again?
No, absolutely not. There wasn't even any fun scenes to watch like there was in season 1. You know how easy it was to sell me from that first episode? I was, yo, I'm definitely revisiting this show. And I did watch season 1 again, but yeah, not this one. I'm cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna watching this entire season again. Like, I don't want to watch any of the other episodes either, because like they're good. I don't want to watch that sadness again. It's not a bad season. Give it a 6 out of 10, but I wouldn't watch this again. I'd rather just maybe watch the next season. I'm not super excited for the next season, if there even is one. I'm sure there's going to be one, because it's like scoring really high for some reason. People are loving this.
I mean, they don't have COVID anymore, so we'll have monkeypox or something else in this next season.
And monkeypox is in this fucking next season, bro. Like, I'm
gonna give up early.
You don't have any ideas. Cool. But yeah, those are our thoughts, and let's hear yours. Let's down in the comments. What you thought of the season? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Are you a fan of the mayor? Do you love him? Let us know down in the comments.
Favorite Uncle Clifford scene.
Peace.